Good afternoon and welcome back to Horse Racing Today. Thomas and I about to drive ourselves crazy trying to make some selections at Kentucky Downs opening day. Just bombs away. Thomas, what were your thoughts
Say the
about it?
least, yeah.
Yeah,
About the biggest thing I noticed was not a lot of back from way back horses were winning
most of the things up front were taking care of
on the
business.
pace, or it was either the leader or on the pace.
Hmm.
Closing was not happening, and since we're in that third fence rail right now, as they take them down during the week, it was interesting to see that when they hit when they started to go uphill, you could see more than a few of them laboring.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, they're not used to that over here. That's foreign racing, Tom. There's no hills here. Just
Well, the
hills,
only
no
one
way.
is downhill at Santa Anita, and that's about the only one I can think of.
Yes, they certainly don't go. They should run the other way at Santa Anita. That would make it more interesting. All right, real quick before we get going, when the show is over, sometime later on today, we will post all of our comments along with the replay over the show at horseracingtoday.net. Make sure you click on the link in the description below. And when you're there, you hit on the HRT gear. Get yourself some fantastic Horse Racing Today gear as we enter into the winter seasons. You can get some hoodies as well. So you can get ready for the fall weather as not right about now, but soon, the temperature should start to dip a little bit, particularly in the evenings. Only 4 days left to get 20% off. Make sure you take advantage of that. And of course, you always want to take advantage of free stuff, right, Tom?
Absolutely. Should point out yesterday at Kentucky Downs it was 93, so I wouldn't call that winter weather.
No, not yet. But the thing is, it's supposed to rain a lot over the next couple of days.
Yeah, that'll change the course, and that'll change, how they adjust their schedule too.
Indeed. Well, get free picks today and tomorrow and every day at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Today, our free picks are at Penn National. Just click on there. You'll see it'll take you to the tip sheets, and you will see down here, Penn National today. Free track tonight. So make sure you take advantage of that. All right, Tom, are you ready for the nuttiness, the chaos, the confusion that is Kentucky Downs?
Well, we can't complain they're not full fields.
Well, they are kind of 12 fields. Yeah. 12 horses, I think, in almost all of them, right? And then some extra horses. Now, for the record, I didn't include any AEs in my picks, although I do expect with the weather there'll be some scratches.
And also horses that are in other races during the next week. We saw that Thursday, a couple scratched out to run Sunday. So keep that in mind too. So some of the trainers are making their adjustments accordingly.
Well, race 1 will be a mile on the turf. It's for maidens, $170,000. 2-year-olds, of course, Thomas, anything can go with 2-year-olds. Let's take a quick look at the track there. So we're going to keep our Foreign Friday format, not the stuff that Tom and Terry and I do. It's going to be 1 mile, right? It's going to start back here. They're going to make their way up and around. And Thomas, you said so far, be on the front because that's the best place to be.
It appears to be, yes, at this point. But again, as you mentioned, rain, that'll change the track as it does in places we do more frequently.
Yes, and probably a lot less scratches at Kentucky Downs than we'll see normally on the regular calendar of races here in the U.S.
Yeah.
All right, Tom.
Too much money out there.
You're ready to get cracking here? Let's see what you got.
Start with number 9. Grove City Sunset is my top choice. Didn't break well at our last start. Really lost any chance. Her second start, she was about 3 or 4 lengths behind at the beginning. Wide, closed, looked a lot better, got 4th. They added blinkers last time, and that was definitely an improvement. And I see her right up there again today. And I think with the experience, that'll help. 3, Will Then. Going to be my next choice. First time starter with some good works. Trainer has a good record of getting him ready, about 41% in the money numbers. And I, of course, have to look at the mare and what she's produced. She has 4 folds. They've all won. 3 of them have won on the turf, and 1 is a stakes winner. And I don't think I have Frankie Dettori riding either.
I was going to ask you, to what degree do you think Dettori has an advantage?
So far, not much, but first day over the track, like any of the other guys, it's learning experience. And we'll see how it plays. Number 2, Smartest, is going to be my final choice. Ran well in her first start, finished second, a little over 3 lengths behind. Works appear to be good, and I think she could win, but I'm going to put her for third.
I'm going to start off in the first race with the first-time starter, Will Then. That first-time starter won yesterday and crushed, right? Let's see if it can happen again.
That's Jimmy DeVito.
The first horse. So we paid $30 to win, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Will Then, if you follow our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday show, gets 3 out of 3 for me and my first-time score. Good breeding, good works, great trainer on the debut. 5 Wonderland is next for me with Jose Ortiz and Mark Cassie. I'm not doing the best job of highlighting what I'm doing here. I'm catching way too much. All right, there we go. Wonderland. Any second race improvement for this horse? And, typically horses improve anywhere from 5 to 13 speed points in round 2. Anywhere in that range should put that one in the contest for the W. And then Will Then, another one Thomas has, I have too. That one is the 70 cent favorite in its debut and did not show up at the start. So a little bit better start today for Smartest. Gives that one an edge. And one thing I forgot to mention is the profile of a winner. So 1 mile on the Kentucky Downs course, mostly from last year's data, finds that the inside to outside closers do best. I know Tom said speed has been the way so far, but maybe the weather will put things back to normal. One thing I found out today, Thomas, that I did not know, because I was thinking, what are we going to do without the predictor?
Yeah, that would really suck. We don't have one. But
we do, sort of. We have a smart picker. And the smart picker says, looking at the graphs here, Tom, it looks like it says Wonderland, No Mo Cookies, and Grove City are the horses to consider. And both of us, I think, do you have Wonderland in your picks? I don't remember.
I do not have Wonderland. I do have Grove City. So
we have a bar-like chart.
Yeah, well,
I think we could do that ourselves.
Gives people ideas,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I should make our own predictor. I think I'm going to do that once I have a little bit better, a lot better programming skills. Let's just put it there. All right. So let's go off to race number 2. See what this one's all about. Let me exit that out so I don't get all confused. This one's 6 furlongs, another maiden, $170,000. 3-year-old and up, Tom, 6 furlongs. The profile of a winner favors speed. So might stay in line with what you talk about there. A couple of races, either won by pilots or co-pilots. Take a look at the track at 6 furlongs. We're going to start on this turn here, Tom. And how does starting on that turn impact the races?
I think it favors the inside a little more. But we haven't had any. We've only had 6.5 furlong races so far. So but we'll see on this. 6.5, we've seen the speed hold pretty much up. I think only in one 2-year-old race it didn't.
Run the 2-year-olds, anything can happen on that spot. So, all right, Tom, we made our picks for race number 1. And we're going to make our picks for race 2 now.
All right, we're going to start with number 7. It's My Life. Slow in his first start, used the rail and ran up for third. He was about 4 lengths behind. That race was in February, so we're working for this race. And some of the works were out of the gate, which I think helps a lot for some of these horses. The mare has produced 9 foals to race. She's got 7 winners, 3 are stakes winners, but only 2 of them won on the turf. I like the workouts, the first effort, and they are saving them for this race. So that's always a factor for me. And the rider's pretty good too.
They're not bad.
Yeah, I'm going to take number 6. Tap It Stale a Verve. It has 3 starts, and none of them have been particularly good. 2 of them were in Dubai, and then last time Saratoga on the dirt. They're going to add blinkers. They're going to move to the turf. I don't know about winning, but I think you want some odds. This is one to go after. Finally, I'm going to take 3. Go Captain. My final choice. And then first start was at Oaklawn. Off slow, was rushed up, and faded and lost. He was behind. That was in December. Coming into here, he's got some good works. And the breeding really suggests he should like turf. And I think this saving and move is going to be very interesting. And that's why, again, we'll take one at a price. And it is, as I like to refer to Kentucky Downs, as the track of creative handicapping.
Yes, indeed. Why? I did some creative handicapping myself, and somehow we ended up on a couple of picks here that we like early on in the card anyway. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but the Bon Jovi horse, It's My Life, It's Now or Never. Third in its debut. Both horses that beat her went out to win the next race. And the horses that beat her also appear to be low-level stakes types. So pretty high quality. I'm going to say high quality, but
good quality.
Good quality indeed.
Yeah, they're listed race type winners, and that's good quality.
I think one of them ran in the Breeders' Cup and didn't do very well, but nonetheless qualified. Go Captain is the second choice for me, so somehow we end up on this couple of horses here. Same thinking, I feel like. Speed and then Fade in the debut. I mentioned early on that Speed seems to be the way to win at this distance. Holding up, we don't know what the weather's going to do. I think just going through the numbers, a good shot to be the pilot or the co-pilot. Plenty of good workouts for the first race since New Year's Eve. So I think gets to the front, more stamina today. And then finally, Beer Run. How do you pass on a Wesley Ward horse in a short race, Thomas? I don't know. And I'm not sure if it's helpful or not, but it's the only horse in this race that has a trip over the Kentucky Downs course. It didn't go that bad, so perhaps it improves on that effort. Let's look at the smart picks according to Equibase. And it's thinking right now. Not quite sure what it wants to show us, but all right. It says right here, Beer Run, Thomas, looks like a runaway winner in this race, followed up by Rocky Joy, a name that neither of us pronounced or mentioned. So what were your thoughts on Rocky Joy? Did that make it into your alternative picks anywhere?
No, my alternative picks, I had Beer Run in there and Trust Issues.
Something I have. All right. Race number 3, Tom.
A little editorializing, right?
Yes, indeed. 6.5 furlongs. We mentioned a lot of those going on so far, and you said Speed has sold up. Looks like they'll start like right about here somewhere, and then make their way around this turn to come around. And I guess being on the inside, Speed, getting yourself well positioned in that turn is a good place to be, Thomas. And so far, profile of a winner for 6.5 furlongs has favored some Speed stalkers forward, 32% of which went wire to wire. Does look like the rail bonus is there. 2 through 7 have played fair. A little bit of a discount. 8 and out has actually played fair. So maybe it's just the horse that can get down to the rail that has a good shot to win. Tom, who do you think that?
One of the things we should have pointed out, and if you have not watched the races at Kentucky Downs, they generally put the gate in the middle of the track. So keep that in mind when you see it. And then for the 6 furlong race, and I think the 6.5 too, they generally will put it more towards the outside rail.
All right. So maybe it gives them a little
bit more. Mile race, they'll put it right in the middle.
Give them a little less chance to get there. So who do you think wins?
6. Mischievous Rogue. Winner last time out at Hawthorne, 5 furlongs. Closed 3 wide, looked good. Ran second in the previous race and looked also good in that race. Ran third last year at Kentucky Downs after 3 wins. Mike Maker generally knows how to place horses. And this looks like a nice spot. 3, Sousa Summer is going to be my next choice. Ran against Top Company the last 2 times out and did absolutely nothing. And I think he's back to a level where he can win and has won and has placed. He's been off since June with some works on the Saratoga Turf training track, which is where the Oklahoma track is. If you have never been there, it's kind of cool to go watch them work. And I think you toss those last 2. He's just over his head. let's put him in a place where he got a chance, and this is a better place. Finally, I'm going to take number 7, One Timer. He's raced only once this year, ran second. He settled near the pace in the front end, and yeah, he looked pretty good doing it. Ran second last year in a race, in a grade 2 race at this track. So now, if he's got any form, he's already got experience over this track. It can't hurt any. And I just, it's a tough bunch. Let's face it. It may be a smaller-ish field, 9 horses, but you could make a case for, I think, all but 2.
Well, hopefully none of those 2 are in my picks. I'm going to go with Call Me Fast as my top pick in here. I'm going to take that Rail Bonus Thomas for a horse that should be better in the second start after a layoff. My only concern is that first race on grass. I mean, you're going to be in Kentucky, Thomas. You got to have Bourbon in your pick. Bourbon Heist. That one tends to run well coming off the bench after a little bit of rest. Decent workouts getting ready. Another horse is going to give it a go on the grass for the first time, but everything points to this horse actually liking the surface. And then I'm going to go with the favorite, the Larry Ravelli horse, One Timer. This horse, Larry Ravelli will get its horse out of the gate fast. It's going to go to the front, Tom. There's no question what Larry's going to do with his horses. Has been over the Kentucky Downs course twice with a win and a second. I just didn't want to put the 2-1 on the top of my ticket at Kentucky Downs because they don't really win that often.
No.
I'm pretty sure that the smart pick is going to make it one of the smart picks, however, as it thinks about what to do. Go place your bet right now. That says $2 to place on the 7. There you go. That's an aggressive bet. That is One Timer, followed by Mischievous something or another. I don't remember the last name.
Yeah, that's mine.
And then Arrest Me Red. I was thinking about Arrest Me Red too.
That horse has had plenty of opportunities and wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I think the most logical bet is One Timer, but I don't place wager on the 7. What are you going to get back? 10% of your money? That's not
if you're lucky.
Yeah, you might get 210 back. All right, race number 4 is where we're going to go off to next. This one's 6 furlongs. We're going to get a belly full of these 6 furlongers. It's an allowance race, $190,000. Purse is $190,000. Now you start to understand why there are so many horses in these fields, Tom. Lots of money to be made.
Yeah, a few bucks.
Hopefully we can participate. If you're a speed player, you're looking for the par speed figure, it's right there at 90. We talked a little bit about the 6 furlong distance starting there. None so far. What we've seen in the past, pilots or co-pilots get the job done. Tom, in your view, who gets the job done in the 4th spot?
6, Norwich. This is a horse that loves to find trouble and done a very good job of it. He's been bumped at the start and still rallies, and he keeps doing that, which is really interesting. So he's only got a maiden win, so what do? Today they're going to add blinkers, and I think that's going to help.
And what if he doesn't get bumped? He just gets a clean trip.
He's got looking around. He's got the 6th post. He's got John Velasquez. They're changing to him. I think this track suits his running style, and I think he's got a nice chance here. And I think adding the blinkers will make the difference. Number 8, Bailey Longu. I don't know. His last 3 starts haven't been very good. His last one was in January. Comes into some works. He's went off the layoff before. At this track, and he went off the favorite. Rosario is back on him. I think that helps, and we'll see. 4, Linzer is going to be my final choice. He set the pace in his last race at Ellis and came up short. Ran second. I don't think form is a question. I think, but the issue I have is the turf going to be what he likes because he's won on the dirt. He was DQ'd on the turf in his maiden race. But it's like one of those horses I don't want to leave off my ticket because I think the odds will be decent. I think the horse looks like he's got some idea what to do.
Yeah, just don't get DQ'd, right? Find
Well,
himself
that
in
would be
trouble.
nice. Yeah, that would be an improvement.
Like the Norwich horse. All right. Well, I'm going to start a run of 12 horses right here, Thomas. I'm going to go with Elegant Trip. Should be as good, maybe better in the second start off the bench. The only race at Kentucky Downs was solid enough to consider for the second race at Kentucky Downs. Committee of One, the Steve Asmussen horse, has some late speed. And I think when you look at this horse's distances, maybe miles too long, 5.5 furlongs too short. I think the wheelhouse for this one's going to be 6 to 7 furlongs. Committee of One is going to get that today for that Hall of Fame trainer. And then another one that we just can't wait to pronounce, Roy Soleil. I guess, Tom, you know the French. Is that about right?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right. Any of his turf races are probably good enough to win here. Solid off the sidelines, so perhaps a shot for Tyler Gaffleone to get another win. And we'll see if the smart pick people agree with us and if they have another aggressive $2 place bet. They have a $2 place bet on number 10. Which is who's number 10? Dancing Rinka, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And that one looks like a runaway winner on the bar chart here, Thomas, and a name that neither one of us has in our picks. Are we going to just go out and hedge and put $2 on the horse to place, or what?
Well, maybe.
Yeah, that's what
or maybe this will be another one of those screwy Kentucky Downs races, and we'll have a $75 winner.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, it would probably be an accident. So right over there, you got perfect segue, I suppose. Race number 5. This one is 6 furlongs, as I mentioned. We're going to have plenty of those to deal with, so pay attention. You might find a bias that's useful for you. Maidens again for 2-year-olds again. Just about anything can happen again, Thomas. We've shown you the 6 furlongs a couple of times. Going to start there. Inside speed has been the way. Well, we don't know necessarily what some of these horses are going to do, but for the ones we have a sense of what we want them to do, Tom. So fill us in on what your thinking is.
I start with number 2, First Navy Jack, my top choice. He ran second at Pontefract in his first race. And I would call it more of an allowance type race than a maiden. He challenged for the lead, ran second, so ran pretty well. Mm-hmm. Interesting with this one they're bringing over is the trainer is also the owner, one of the owners. So usually there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of that angle.
Yeah, and there's, he only has 2 winners from 65 starters this year, but why would you fly this horse over here? Dettori's got the ride. If he's got anything, Pontefract, it's not a really similar course to this one. I would say Bath is much more similar to this course. But again, Pontefract has those ups and downs. So he does have some experience where most of these horses either don't have any experience or have never run in that, and have run but never really did anything. Next, 6, K Do You Declare. He's a first-time starter. I like his works. And mares produced 2 foals to winner. They both won. One won a stakes race and one won on the turf. Chris Hartman horse. So you're going to get a little price on him. Mm-hmm. 3, Turf Cat. My final choice. First effort was okay. He had some issues at the beginning, and he had more issues in the race, and still was moving forward and ran 6th. What do? As I said in the last race, you add blinkers, and they did that. I think that'll help. And this is interesting with this trainer in blinkers, because when he's made the change, and has done it 14 times in the last 365 days, he's been winning at a 36% rate, adding blinkers, and a 64% rate in the money.
Not bad at all. I'll take those.
Really, those numbers jump out. Have to jump out at you.
Yeah, that's.
And then I'm going to throw another one in because this is a second-time starter, right?
What are you
doing?
He wins
at a 25% rate and 42% in the money run. So that's one I couldn't leave out. Because
a lot of
stats and I thought the race he ran was not bad.
Well, I mentioned I'm going to have a bunch of 12 horses. Well, here's the second one in a row. Hit that review. An Irish horse, along with the first Navy Jack over there. But nonetheless, this horse is any better in its second career start. He's the winner. Number 5, Crooked Bullet. Let's go with a long shot here. Tom Jose Ortiz, Michael Maker. Can't beat that. Solid trainer. Yes, indeed. Solid breeding. Got to like that. Solid scheduled works. So I'm going to go with that as my first timer in there. And then I'm going to end it up with Floodlights. You notice I'm only taking 3 picks today, Tom, too, by the way. I've decided to go with the Tom standard.
Sean would be so proud of you.
Yeah, he's always proud of me nonetheless, though. The Floodlights did have a wide trip in its debut. I think this one's going to pop to the lead like, pretty much all Wesley Ward horses do. I mean, he showed a lot more early pace than any of the other experienced horses in here. I have no idea what the first-time starters are going to do at 2-year-olds, but I do suspect that your KY Do Declare is going to send, and it was highly considered for this spot as well, Mr. Thomas. No stats. I should try to have as many stats as you. But smart pick. I'm sure they have some stats that go into their bar charts, Tom. And here you're going to put $2 to show on the 2 in race number 5, First Navy. That's your top pick, Thomas. So you better hurry to the gates, to the window, and put that $2 bet there. Looks like hit that. I don't know what next up is in there, but it's just a G-rated show, so I'll leave it be at that. And then you have Perfect Magic in there for your third selection in the static version of the predictor.
Yeah, no running horses in this one.
Nah, they come on, Equibase. You got to step up your game a little bit. You can't let Racing Post outdo you like that. Another 6 furlong race, Thomas. At least this time it's not for maidens. It's an optional claiming for 80 grand. The horse was in for the price right there. You'd see it on the Brisnet. 88, Michael Irvin is the par speed figure. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up that have not won 2 races other than their maiden, claiming starter, state bred, or which have never won 3 races or claiming price of 80 grand. We do know that the 6 furlong race is going to start right there, come back around. We do know that co-pilots and pilots have done well. Speed's held up so far. We do know rain's coming, so a lot of things might change, Tom. I don't think you're going to change your picks between now and then, but you might. But if not, who do you like?
I'm going to start with number 9, Field Glass. Last 2 starts, to say they were awful, they were. But she was in stakes company, and the drop, I think, will help. She has speed. She prefers to break on top and let them catch her. And last year over this track, she didn't do so well, but she did return to win in her next start, which is interesting because a lot of times they run at Kentucky Downs and then they don't do a damn thing in the next race. And it won it by over 7 lengths. So I think the drop really helps. 6, Makeup coming next. She hasn't run really a bad race. She's been on the lead or closing. Last time she lost by 4 lengths in a race that she had a chance, but I don't think I watched it, and not the best of rides in my opinion. Should get bet down. There's no question about that. I think those odds are a little generous right now, but I can't leave her out. Finally, I'm going to take How About Them Apples. She pressed the pace in her last race. She led at 1 point and then ran third. She's been running in optional claimers and minor stakes races, and she's done okay. The other note is that, of course, she ran a 7 furlong race here last year. She was on the lead and won. So that's always important. Is she ready for another big effort? I wouldn't be surprised. Has she been prepped for this track and the money that's available? Very possible.
Well, I don't know how often it is in the U.S., Tommy. You could put the 12 horse on top of your ticket 3 races in a row. I couldn't pass up on that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I didn't want to put the favorite on the top, but since I had the 12 in the previous 2, I figured let's go for the pick 3 using the 12s. This is a Wesley Ward horse.
Wild and crazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little nutty like that sometimes. I'm probably going to find out from the smart picks that I should put $2 on at the place. But nonetheless, it's a Wesley Ward horse. You know it's going to break sharp, going to get towards the front, and maybe add to that co-pilot winning bias. I agree with you, Thomas. How about Dem apples. That's how they say it here in Chicago. So why not go with the Chicago style horse right there? As you mentioned, it did win its only race at Kentucky Downs. Last time out, showed some improved late speed. So I think a horse that likes to go forward, that can build on that late speed, get to the front, more stamina. How about them apples might end up in the winner's circle? And then finally, Altered Shot, my final selection in here. The 5 horse, if it can just repeat its last turf race, Tom, that'll do. And has some nice workouts, perhaps to improve on that effort. Let's see if the Smart Picks actually recommends a $2 place bet on the Top Gun Girl. No, not number 8. They should put the numbers on here. I guess this is going to pink. How about Dem Apples? There you go. The 8 horse is the one. I should have figured that out a while ago, that the colors are the match. All right. And then next after that is the Top Gun Girl.
Nothing gets by you, does it?
Well, eventually I catch up. So Agra is a horse we didn't mention either, Thomas. Anywhere in your alternative bets too?
In my alternates, I have to look at the AEs, especially number 14. The other one is, I should say 15 too, because Meg Mayer claimed the horse last time out, and that generally means he's got an idea of where he wants to place the horse. I did have number 12, Top Gun Girl, in there
as well. Yeah, I just figured, in the States they have a hard time at some tracks putting 6 horses in a race. So now that we got 12, why not throw the 12 on top as frequently as possible? Guess what, Tom? Race number 7. They're not going to break from that 6 furlong streak. So there you go. Another 6 furlong, another maiden one. This one's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. And oddly, I think when I looked through this, I was looking. Oh, no, it's not this one. It's another race. But in any case, 6 furlongs. We know where they're going to start on the track. We know that inside's probably better. We know pilots and co-pilots do pretty well, Thomas. So let's see if to this point, hopefully our picks are doing well. If not, we could pick it up and get going right here. So who do you like?
12. See, you never know, right? Vino Visanti, I guess. I don't know. Slow start, fast finish in his career debut. That was on the all weather. Returns with works that look okay, but they're hard to judge for me because this is a training track that I never heard of. And in my talking with people, the training tracks tend to be slower because of the way they're maintained. So I think those workouts can be misleading because maybe they're going faster than
it looks.
It is misleading. So I'm not fond of the 12. I don't at 6 furlongs. That's not my ideal. But he does keep close. So let's see. Mare is important here because we're looking to make sure that it can run on the turf because all weather did okay. It has 9 foals that have raced. 7 of them have won, and 4 of them have won on the turf. So my guess is probably going to like the turf.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Stage Presence. It's going to be next. She had the 10 post in her first 2 starts and really did okay. I mean, she finished second. Then she had a wide. It was wide. The next start, she didn't get the job done. Finished 5th. In between those races, she trained trainers, and the trainer now is part of the owner of the horse. Works look okay. It's a good race to try to break her maiden, and certainly the money, get your money back.
Mm-hmm.
7, Scarlet Poppy, final choice. She went off the favorite last time. She was blocked and steadied in the home stretch. That doesn't help winner races. Race before, she ran second, a 6 furlong race. It's going to be heavily bet. It's to Tory and Ward. So, yeah, there's going to be money put down on this one.
Absolutely. Well, we'll probably have to put $2 down to place on Scarlet Poppy in just a moment. I didn't go with the 12 horse, Thomas. You broke my streak. What? No, I didn't. Maybe I should flip it around. But I was close. I was just off by 1. So I went with Belle of the Bluegrass. Again, we went with the Bourbon horse before. Now we're in the Bluegrass state. How do you pass up on a Bluegrass horse? Especially one that just missed last out. 3 good workouts since that race. More stamina today to make up that little bit that it was lacking in the last effort. Number 9, Stage Presence, one that you like. I like too, Thomas. All right. So
No, I don't have
one
that.
in the pick. Oh, you don't? All right. Well, you should like it then.
I guess so.
Yes. This one will be coming on at the end, Mr. Thomas. It does have its best published workout since then, so I would expect to see a better performance. And guess which one I'm going to end with? Number 12. I can't go without a 12 in my picks. But if this one does get better in its second career start, which typically is the case for horses, it can get the job done at 20-1. So maybe I can go 12, 12, 12, 12. That would be a hell of a pick 4 right there, Tom.
I would think so. And then hit the all button for the pick 5, right?
Yeah, you might as well do that. That would work out pretty good. And what did you mention? Yesterday's pick 5 paid like $62,000 or something like that.
$62,000, yeah.
So race number 7, $2 to place on number 7. There you go. That's Scarlet Horse that you mentioned. But it does look like Belle of the Bluegrass is going to give that horse every ounce of hard effort to get to that finish line first. A couple of others not too far off in there. I think some of these down here are your AE. You're also
you're also eligible. And I put 1 in there. No, they're yeah.
Yeah, I didn't put any AEs in my
again. You got to watch. I mean, the AEs did nothing yesterday. But the wide draw may have been a disadvantage, and the speed was holding. So it's hard to say. Your mileage may vary because we don't know what the track will be like.
No, not with the rain coming. The 8th race. Let's see if we can finally break away from some of these 6 furlong turfs. Oh, we do, Tom. We're going to triple it almost with 1 mile and 5/16.
A lot farther.
Yes. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on in here. If you want, for horses interested in consideration for an invitation to the 2024 Nashville Derby, please contact Kentucky Downs Racing officials or Adrian Beaumont. Email request to Derby Oaks at Kentucky Downs. Tom, you have any horses you're considering entering in those races?
I don't know this race.
No, I mean you have a horse in your barn.
One of the efforts Kentucky Downs is making this year, and that's what Adrian's job is, Beaumont, is to get European horses in these races. And fortunately, it's pretty easy to get them there, relatively speaking, because they can get into Churchill, go in the quarantine in there, and then either ship down where they have their own, and they now have their own facility there or whatever. I mean, so they're making it easier for a European trainer. And I don't know if you saw, but Kadeem is going to be running. That's the one that ran 2 years in a row and run the Royal Ascot race. The big $6 furlong race. At both times at ridiculous odds. So they are attracting some decent horses.
Well, the money should bring them over here nonetheless too. So 1 mile and 5/16. We're going to mile here. I'm guessing 1 mile and a start here. So they're probably going to start somewhere around here.
No, it's less than 1.5 miles.
Yeah, you're right. This is 1.5 miles, and they go this way, right?
No, wrong way.
They go that way.
Yeah.
They go backwards?
Around that sharp.
Oh, yeah. I'm backwards. Yeah. I'm backwards. I'm used to the Europeans.
You're more, it's going to start between the finish line and the 1.5 mile start.
Yeah, right here. So I was thinking
a little back, a little more, but yeah.
This track has me upside down, so I was thinking Australian racing. All right, Thomas. So they're going to start here. They're going to make all of these turns up these hills, down and around and bend. Did they have one this long yesterday or no?
It's just your kidney there.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a kidney. It kind of also looks like a duck a little bit in some respects. So were there any races this long yesterday? Did the speed hold up to there too?
There were no races. Let's see, mile. What was the largest long? There was one that started, but and then this again, speed did pretty well in that race.
Yeah, I'd imagine closers though will make their make their presence felt at 1 mile and 5/16. Thomas.
Well, and this is, of course, 3-year-old race. So keep that.
So who do you got making the able to have handling the distance?
The favorite, number 6, Bellum Justum. Last time he raced at Goodwood in a Group 3 race and lost to Jen Burgle, which is an Aidan O'Brien trained horse by a neck, and really ran well. Then prior to that was at the Hampton Court, which is a course at Royal Ascot, and he got 3rd in that race. And then after winning 2 races, he tried the English Derby, and he failed. Well, so did a lot of horses. Of course, the winner of that one was the City of Troy.
Not a bad horse.
Yeah, and who will be running in the Breeders' Cup Classic next. DeTore and Andrew Balding are definitely chasing the money in this one. Number 8, Carson's Run, to be my next choice. It was one of the last 2 races. I really like the last one, a grade 1 in the Saratoga Derby, or Derby, whichever you prefer.
It's Derby here, Thomas.
He beat Legend of Time, who's been pretty good horse for Godolphin and Appleby and Buick, but he got him. Race before that, he closed strongly in a Monmouth race, and he did okay. He's done very well. The season start you could forget. He was moved up with a DQ in that race, and he really lost all chances because he got badly interfered with. So he could be 3 for 3 this year. I think he's one you got to watch really carefully. Number 5, White Palomino is going to be my final choice. He's only a maiden winner, but I like his efforts since. Belmont Derby, he ran grade 1, ran second another race. He is a pace setter. Sensible pace means a win. So we'll see. And I think Mr. Ortiz understands how to do that.
He says he has the clock ticking in his head when we had him on.
Well, you definitely need one at this track.
For sure. Well, I'm going to go with Carson's Run, the 8 horse. I don't know about that speed number in that Saratoga win that you talk about, Tom. So much different than anything else that the horse put on paper. But anything remotely close to that would be a winner. And we mentioned that there's going to be rain. The horse is just a half a length away from winning all 3 races when the turf course has been downgraded. Sea Thunder, I'm going to go with one of the other British invaders there, Thomas. In England, the horse has never not been well bet, and its best efforts have come when the ground is wet. So well bet, wet, keep that in mind for Sea the Thunder. Then finally, I can't go another race without a 12-horse, Thomas. So I'm going to put Cugino in there. Once again, that 12 does show up. Seems like the longer the race, the better for this guy. And he's not run one this long yet, so I think you're going to see those late legs shine at the end of the Nashville Derby here.
Well, and Flavian Pratt has been absolutely going crazy at Saratoga. And he's won 6, 7 grade 1s this meet, and that's pretty good.
Heard Godolphin does great they do great every day.
Yeah, they that's to be an understatement.
Yeah, it's just like a TB12s. All right, here we go. $2 to place on number 6. That's the horse you put on top. Yeah. And then nobody else is remotely close in the bar chart predictor. So maybe just single up to 6 if you're looking at those pick 4s, pick 3s, those race to race races, and try to keep your budget down because with 12 horses a field, it's easy to run out of money fast if you're betting those stacked races.
Well, either that or doing what a friend of mine does when he plays the rolling daily doubles. And he does very well doing that. And of course, that's got the lowest percentage of takeout.
I have friends that do rolling pick 3s too. That's a lot cheaper than especially if you go like 2x2x2. It's what is that? $4. So if you take your top 2 picks, it's not a whole lot of money to roll them through. And all you need really at this place is one where one of your top 2 picks goes off at a price. So maybe you pick your favorite and your biggest price that you like, put them in and roll them and hope that one comes in price, and it'll pay for the whole week at the track. Race number 9. A lot of races to go, Tom. We're not used to doing this many. We're usually done, but we're going to double up today.
Yeah,
too.
we're playing Europe in Kentucky today.
Yes. Well, for a lot of people, Kentucky probably does feel like a foreign country, but in the United States. Race number 9 is next, 6.5 furlongs. You mentioned Tom Speed is holding up there. They will start. I get this one right, I'm pretty sure, right here. And then they'll come back up and around and down towards the finish line there. So Speed mentioned, that's the way it works out, Thomas. And then let me close this out for race number 9. This is the Exacta Systems Ladies Turf Sprint. It is a grade 2. The post time will be roughly 4:50 p.m. Central Time. So adjust your clocks accordingly to where you live in the country. Thomas, adjust your picks accordingly as well.
I did. And I picked number 10. Red Carpet Ready. She missed by a neck last time in her first start on the turf. She's raced well on the dirt in graded stakes wins and races, and she has wins. Can she convert that turf to dirt again, or dirt to turf, whichever you prefer? Good workouts. That one start on the turf looked good, awful good, and I'm going to take her. And I hope to get a price on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Secret Money is my next choice. Missed by half a length last time at Saratoga, a grade 3. 2 races have been really good, and there was a DQ in there too. Last year, she won a grade 3 here, and off her previous effort, I think they're gotta think this is the race they were targeting.
Mm-hmm.
And she likes Kentucky Downs. And my final choice will be number 4. Don't Look Back at All. Won 3 races in a row, including a grade 3 last time out. This is one that runs close to the pace, so that'll be good. Just see how she does going uphill, because it's going to require some effort.
Well, they have some hills in Pennsylvania for a PA bred, so that should not be a problem.
No, but the numbers have been really good for her.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little aggressive placing, but why not? Right?
Yeah.
Money's worth it.
Oh, hell yeah. I think a lot of these horses are aggressively placed because of the money. I'm going to go with the 11 horse, Dance Macabre. That's my top selection in there with Adam Bashiza and Kate Danner combination in there. But this horse has raced 11 times. Tom, you know how many times it finished in the money?
0.
11. So you got the 11th horse finishing in the money 11 times in 11 races. I think that's a crypto code there, Horse Racing 2024. So I'm expecting also today a career best effort out of the 11 horse. And Don't Look Back, the Pennsylvania bred. Don't look back at all. It's my next choice in here. Either of its last races will do, but I do see a bounce back race and another that could set a new high watermark today in the 3rd start after layoff. And then Secret Money, Thomas and I having some agreement on this race, except for the top choice. But Secret Money just missed, and it did miss against the top 2 that I picked here. So resume says this one will be better today and maybe makes up the difference, because Kentucky breds usually do better than Pennsylvania breds, but not for the exceptional PA breds. Let's talk about the smart pick again. Should be really, I think they should rename it the safe pick if you're going to do $2 show bets, right? Or
I would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Don't Look Back at All, but Ruby Neal, the 1 horse, Tom, right in the grill as well, along with Elm Drive. 2 horses that neither one of us talked much about. Did either of those show up in your alternate picks?
No, my alternates were, let me go up there. Your top choice, number 11, and 3, AG Bullet.
Well, we have 2 horse races to go. So if you're going to play those rolling doubles, this will be the beginning of the late daily double. That means we're going to do race number 10, Tom, and that one is going to be 1 mile on the turf, another stakes race. The ladies' turf stakes, it is a grade 3 for fillies and mares. 3 years old and upwards. So 1 mile. You mentioned they did have a 1 mile race yesterday. That one's going to start here. They're going to work their way around and come back to the finish line. And you mentioned speed held up there too, huh?
It did. And that was a 2-year-old race.
So you don't know what you're going to get, right? Right?
Yep.
There's a crypto code on the 15th. Do I know? No, I don't know what that is, but I figured 11 and 11 and 11 had to be some kind of numerical code. So perhaps you can help us understand the crypto codes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to know them. All right, so race number 10, Tom. Who do you got?
No, start with number 3, Fluffy Socks. She got going too late in the Diane at Saratoga. Really didn't have any chance of getting anything in that race. She has a winning effort at Pimlico as a huge favorite, which made sense. She's going to drop back in a distance I think she's much more suited for. 5 starts, 3 wins, and 2 seconds. That's pretty good. I think this is his distance. I think Chad Brown thinks it is too. That's why he's putting them in her. She closes, and she's 1 for 1 at this track. Number 11, Evie's Jets are going to be next choice. Has done well at this distance and showed some pace in the Diane, but yeah, it was too far for her. She's a miler. Just missed by 3/4 of a length in the Just a Game. And she ran 4th in that race, but it was only, whiskers, so to speak. She's done very well again. Another one good at this distance. 5 wins, 3 seconds, 2/3 from 15 starts. She's one that could be cutting the pace. I wouldn't be surprised if she's on top. Finally, I'm going to take number 6, Walkathon. Last 2 races have been grade 3s. She has a grade 3 win. She won the last 2 races, I should say, and a grade 3 win at Tampa. Went off the favorite in the previous race, stalked the pace. She's won going wire to wire before, so stalking she has to be placed forwardly. That's really the key here.
Mm-hmm.
I expect a reasonable effort again, maybe a really good effort from her. And she's raced at this track before, so I have some feeling for it. And Ian Wilkes probably knows what he's doing.
Yeah, so that those horses that can be on the front or pressure, those EP types in the horse racing pace parlance or jargon.
Well, and I want to point one other one out that did not get into the race, but who knows what will happen. Number 13, Special Wang. That's actually a horse coming from Ireland, and been in money all her races, 5 races, and last time was a grade 2 stakes at Leopardstown. So if she draws in, it could be interesting.
Take the red marker out and circle that one.
Yeah.
From what I've read, usually the Group 2, Group 1 type winners in Europe, they are very, very much in play for similar level races here in the United States. I am going to start with the 4-horse, Implicated. This one, Thomas, has run at the distance 3 times. You know how many times it's ended up on this side? It's the winner's circle, Thomas. You know how many times it's ended up in there?
Oh, 3?
3 for 3 at the distance. This one is that miler, baby. I think so. That's what I look like I saw in the past performances, unless Brisnett's wrong.
There are horses that just love that mile distance, and it's far enough for not, the sprinters don't necessarily do well, but long enough for a horse that middle distance typer.
Just want to make sure because you made me second guess myself there, Thomas. Which is
really,
it's not common for me. All right, so 3 for 3 at the distance. There you go. Undefeated. It is that miler, the horse that just loves that mile. That's last race. Okay, Fluffy Socks. We don't want to do that. Well, by this race, I'll know who won that race. So
it's a slightly different race, the last one.
Yeah, I would love to have that.
It's not a mile.
I would love to have that Back to the Future ability. Be able to bet last race, this race. That'd be perfect. I've been never wrong. But anyway, this one has never missed the board at a mile either, Thomas. 3 wins, 2 seconds. And one of those seconds was just by a head bob. Its head was up, the other horse's head was down. And this horse did run at Kentucky Downs, broke its maiden there, Thomas, and just beat the hell out of all the other horses in that race. So a repeat of that race, and maybe Chad Brown can score a W somewhere outside of New York. And then finally, number 1, I'm going to go with that rail horse, Nadette. French horse in there, Thomas. I'm going to take that rail bonus for the distance. 4 consecutive speed figure increases in a row. According to Barry Meadows, the book Tom recommended I get. It's the Skeptical Handicapper. I now can recommend it to you as well. That angle wins at least 15%. And if her past third start after a layoff, another book, Horse Thoroughbred Trends, the last name of the guy is Kramer. If the trends hold up on that one, expect a major pop in round 3 off the bench tomorrow, Saturday, or if you're watching Saturday, today. What's going to be interesting to me, though, the horse I want to watch the most in this race is the Sacred Wish horse, because Paco Lopez is riding. Get out of the way. All right, let's find out who we're going to make a $2 place bet on in the Ladies Turf Stakes race. Wow, you're going to have to split. It's a dead heat, Tom. How did they decide which one to bet on? They went with number 3, Fluffy Socks over Implicated. They should have picked my horse. That's the one they should have picked. Implicated. They would have been better off. Final race for you and me is the 11th race. Yeah, this is a long one, Tom. Are we going to do the same thing next week?
I don't know what we're going to do because I'm going to be en route
to Kentucky Downs.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually be in Louisville coming from from Cincinnati. So I don't know if I can, but I will certainly try.
So you're going to be there next week, right?
I will be there on the 8th, which is the Sunday, and the 11th, which is the Wednesday and closing day.
And if I understand,
2.5 mile race there that day.
But if I understand your email correctly to me, I might be there on Sunday too, right?
I have you some venue tickets for you to enjoy. You just have to bring chairs because that kind of setup. And I have it. Actually, we took a hotel room at the hotel right on the track.
So that's where you'll be?
No, I'll be out sitting and enjoying the hopefully nice weather and in my chair, trying to figure out what the heck I did wrong in the last couple days.
And today, right? So, all right. So if you're going to be in Kentucky Downs, Tom and I will be there next Sunday on the 8th. So make sure you come look for us. I'll at least wear some horse racing today gear.
I'll have my logo ones that I had made up that we wore at Saratoga and others.
So I'll match with you then, Thomas. We'll see. But if you want to match with Tom and I, you can. Well, you can't get that shirt, but you can get this stuff, and it might be 90 degrees there.
No,
you might want a T-shirt if it's still 90 degrees, but it might be raining too. Who knows?
If you do wear your stuff, we should give them a bonus, don't you think? Give them something.
Yeah, we'll give them an extra winning pick.
Yeah, well,
we'll go to 5. You'll go to 4 picks on Forum Fridays, and I'll go to 5. That way, we're sure to have a winner. All right, the last race.
We'll certainly try. That's for sure.
Last race will be a mile. It'll start here. They'll come back around. Speed has held up. We've gone through that a couple times. So the only thing really left to do for today, Thomas, is make our final picks for race number 11.
Yeah, I'm going to. And I'm going to start with number 5, bird watching. She missed a Tampa in her first start. It was in January. She dueled most of the way around that turf course. Looked good in that run. And they laid her off. Works her average, but she's going to have company up front again, I think. But if she can finish, I think she wins. 2, Time for Magic is going to be the next one. I like the name. That's perfect because I could use that sometimes.
Every now and then a little bit.
She ran 3 races before. Most of they've been forgettable, but then the last race she woke up and got 3rd. She raced a little wide in that race, and it was in the mud. I think returning to the turf after that last effort, I think she's got a chance. And it's going to take my angle of maybe starting to figure things out, or just don't know. But I think this, again, big, decent money. Why not, right?
Right on.
Number 7, Rash Me. It's going to be my final choice. at the start of her last race, ran third, trailed by 6 lengths, closed nicely, and really good run. She's bred for the turf. There's no question about that. I think she got something because of the mess that last race was. I think she got some learning experience, and I think that helps. And hopefully she will hit the board for me, because I think she'll pay something too.
Yeah, I think they all pay something at this track, Tom. I'm going to go with Bird Watching. I don't know how we ended up with the same horse in this race, but all right.
Because we had to at the end.
Of course, but I should have went with the 12. What happened? Which is probably the perfect. When this race day is over, that's probably what we're both going to look at each other and go, what happened? Probably next Sunday too. But anyway, if this one improves at all in its second start, although I do wonder a little bit about that Tampa Bay angle, but if it does improve, second start improvement again, you can add somewhere between 5 and 13 speed figures. But I figured since it's coming up from Tampa Bay, it's a track rise. So you got to deduct 4 points. So there's math involved, folks.
Well, but it's a maiden, and it's like when people don't play Finger Lakes horses coming to Aqueduct in New York bred races. It's like, you better look at that horse a little more closely. And it's deceptive sometimes.
It can be, for sure. I'm going to go On Command. The next horse for me, the lone turf race, will probably be good enough. It is a wire-to-wire type, so if speed does hold up, that's one to really keep your eye on. But based upon its past performances, I'm worried that it's going to get close to the wire, start looking around, and let somebody go by at the end. And then, Tom, I'm hoping, unlike the 12 horse, What Happened, as our thought to best describe the show, I'm going with what I'm hoping will be our best description of the show, our finest hour. Gonna end with a flyer.
You're not going with Bah Humbug?
No, that we'll save that one for later in the year. This one, I think, Tom, is getting better, race by race by race by race. Always very decently bet. Now you're going to get 20-1 odds when it usually goes off 5-1, 6-1, and that's where most of your winners come from, 6-1 and under. And this horse fits one of the handicapping angles I've come to like of late. I call that the finally healthy angle, Tom, because if you look at this horse's resume, 1 start to the bench, 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 1 start. It's going to make its second start in a row for the first time. So this horse might finally be healthy for Michael Maker. And if it is, you see over here, usually fairly well bet. Maybe today's the day that horse surprises at a price and pops, and it's finally healthy.
Also remember, they added blinkers last time. So it was first time blinkers.
All right. Well, let's see what happens here. Well, this one looks like a very competitive race.
I think that's being nice.
Yes, I think that. But the 14 horse is not even in there. So why would they even do that? That's not even fair. So let's
it's got to draw in. It's not even in the race right now.
That's some BS right there. Let me tell you, they're copping out. So for Love of the 6 horse, it looks like it's the one they like. So that one's going to be for Love and Honor. That was one I thought had a chance too in there. I think it'll run about an 86. It is the prime power first score horse for the folks at Brisnet. So a couple reasons to maybe back that one for your $2 show bet, if you shall be so aggressive. Hey, Tom, that wraps up.
A better draw helps. Going from 10 to 6
could be helpful. Here are all of our picks that we ran down today. A little bit later on today or tonight, I will post everything over on horseracingtoday.net. Again, there's a link in the description down there below. Of course, you can always find free picks at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description down below. For that, a little bit later on, I will timestamp every race so you can come back and take a look at Tom's comments, my comments. So if you're watching on Friday, you're watching on Saturday, you're watching right before race 10 kicks off tomorrow, you want to see what Tom said or what I said so you know what to play or fade. We might be, hopefully we're in play mode tomorrow, not fade mode. But if we're in fade mode, that's useful information there too, Tom.
Right. Again, then we can move on to Sunday.
Yes, and we're not so sure about where we'll be next week, if we're going to, Tom will be en route. But at the very minimum, if you are at Kentucky Downs, maybe we'll print out our picks so you can just beat us up on the spot next Sunday.
Which would be allowed to.
Yes, indeed. Any final thoughts from you after we part on this 11-day journey, 11 race journey?
hopefully we can hang in there for some decent payoffs here, because that is the fine tradition of Kentucky Downs.
Well, that's the one beautiful thing. I agree.
2-year-old races.
Yeah, Kentucky Downs, much like those international races that we do, Tom, it just takes one winner.
Yeah.
To make you a profitable day. So I mean, if you took Tom's picks and my picks and you did a 50-cent trifecta box on every single one, what's that? $3, so $33, $66 across the board. And if we get fortunate, one with big prices, you could win more than that in any given race. So hopefully we get at least one $66 50-cent trifecta tomorrow.
Oh, I'm always hoping.
Any final thoughts from you before you and I part today?
Oh, no, I'm looking forward to going. I've never been to this track.
Nor have I.
And this was on my agenda last year, but unfortunately things happened. This year, I'm definitely going to be going.
Good. We're looking forward to seeing you down there, Tom. It'll be the second time we've gotten together. Last time was at Saratoga, which didn't go too well for me. So hopefully this time around we can flip this trip. I just kept missing. Like my horses kept finishing second
this time, so that'll help you.
And then I wanted to be there for the Clydesdales, if you remember, because the Clydesdale weekend was that weekend, and it was like the only time I had walked away, and I was like, oh, I forgot about the Clydesdales. So sprint all the way from like where they have the picnics to all the way back into the track there, and sweating on a hot day. All right, Thomas. Well, no matter what you're doing for the rest of this day, you're going to try your luck tomorrow at Kentucky Downs, Sunday at Kentucky Downs. You're traveling like Tom and I will be next weekend. We certainly hope that you have God's grace, God's favor, and every single thing you do on this side of the Atlantic, Thomas, ends up in
the winner's circle.
Indeed. We'll see you on Monday, Terry and I for Parks, and maybe next Sunday, Tom and I at Kentucky Downs. Until then, a fantastic day.